All right, everybody. Hope you're doing well. Dr. Imfan Akpan here. I wanted to get into something that's been talked about, that is not OpenClaw, it is NemoClaw. And this was really mentioned by Jensen Wang in his most recent keynote. So let's take a listen.
I'll spend very little time on this time. However, we're going to space. We've already been out in space. Thor is radiation approved, and we're in satellites. You do imaging from satellites. In the future, we'll also build data centers in space. Obviously, very complicated to do so. We're working with our partners on a new computer called Vera Rubin Space One, and it's going to go out to space and start data centers out in space. Now, of course, in space, there's no conduction, there's no convection, there's just radiation. And so we have to figure out how to cool these systems out in space. But we've got lots of great engineers working on it. Let me talk to you about something new. So Peter Steinberger's here, and he wrote a piece of software. It's called OpenClaw, and I don't know if he realized how successful it's going to be, but the importance is profound. OpenClaw is the #1, it's the most popular open source project in the history of humanity, and it did so in just a few weeks. It exceeded what Linux did in 30 years. And it's that important. It is that important. It will do, well, this is all you do, okay? We're announcing our support of it. Let me just quickly go through this. I want to show you a couple things. You simply type this. You type this into a console, and it goes out. It finds OpenClaw. It downloads it. It builds you an AI agent. And then you could tell it whatever else you need to do. Okay, so let's take a look.
An open source project just dropped.
Andre Karpathy has just launched something called Research is a huge deal.
You give an AI agent a task, go to sleep, it runs 100 experiments overnight, keeping what works and killing what doesn't.
I really love what my stuff enables that person to do. And we had like one guy, he told me like he installed it at his 60-year-old dad, and like they made beer, connected the machine via Bluetooth to OpenClaw, and then we automated everything, including the whole website for people to order.
Lobsterlager fertig sein.
Hundreds of people are queuing up for lobsters in Shenzhen.
OpenClaw.
We want to build OpenClaw with OpenClaw.
Everyone is talking about OpenClaw, but
What is OpenClaw?
Believe it or not, there's already a claw con.
Incredible, incredible. Now, I illustrated effectively what OpenClaw is in this way, and so that all of you can understand it, but let's just think what happened. What is OpenClaw? It connects, it's agentic system. It calls and connects to large language models. So the first thing it has resources that it manages. It could access tools, it could access file systems, it could access large language models. It's able to do scheduling. It's able to do cron jobs. It's able to decompose a prompt that you gave it into step by step by step. It could spawn off and call upon other sub-agents. It has I/O. You could talk to it in any modality you want. You could wave at it and it understands you. You could talk to any modality you want. It sends you messages. It texts you, sends you email. So it's got I/O. What else does it have? Well, based on that, you could say, in fact, it's an operating system. I've just used the same syntax that I would describe an operating system. OpenClaw has open sourced essentially the operating system of agentic computers. It is no different than how Windows made it possible for us to create personal computers. Now OpenClaw has made it possible for us to create personal agents. The implication is incredible. The implication is incredible. First of all, the adoption says something, all in itself. However, the most important thing is this. Every single company now realize, every single company, every single software company, every single technology company, for the CEOs, the question is, what's your OpenClaw strategy? Just as we need to all have a Linux strategy, we all needed to have an HTTP, HTML strategy, which started the internet. We all needed to have a Kubernetes strategy, which made it possible for mobile cloud to happen. Every company in the world today needs to have an OpenClaw strategy, an agentic system strategy. This is the new computer. Now, this is just the exciting part. This is enterprise IT before OpenClaw. And I mentioned earlier, the way enterprise IT works, and the reason why it's called data centers is because these large rooms, these large buildings held data, held the files of people, the structured data of business. It would pass through software that has tools and systems of records and all kinds of workflow that's codified into it, and that turns into tools that humans would use. Digital workers would use. That is the old IT industry. Software companies creating tools, saving files, and of course, GSI's consultants that help companies figure out how to use these tools and integrate these tools. These tools are incredibly valuable for governance and security and privacy and compliance, and all of that continues to be true. It's just that post-OpenClaw, post-agentic, this is what it's going to look like. This is the extraordinary part. Every single IT company, every single company, every SaaS company will become a gas company. No question about it. Every single SaaS company will become a gas company, an agentic as a service company. And what's amazing is this, OpenClaw gave the industry exactly what it needed at exactly the time. Just as Linux gave the industry exactly what it needed at exactly the time, just as Kubernetes showed up at exactly the right time, just as HTML showed up. It made it possible for the entire industry to grab onto this open source stack and go do something with it. There's just one catch. Agentic systems in the corporate network can have access to sensitive information, it can execute code, and it can communicate externally. Just say that out loud, okay? Think about it. Access sensitive information, execute code, communicate externally. You could, of course, access employee information, access supply chain, access finance information, sensitive information, and send it out. communicate externally. Obviously, this can't possibly be allowed. And so what we did was we worked with Peter. We took some of the world's best security and computing experts, and we worked with Peter to make OpenClaw enterprise secure and enterprise private capable. And we call that, this is our NVIDIA OpenClaw reference for NemoClaw, which is a reference for OpenClaw, and it has all these agentic AI toolkits, and the first part of it is technology we call OpenShell that has now been integrated into OpenClaw. Now it's enterprise ready. This stack with a reference design we call NemoClaw, okay? With a reference stack we call NemoClaw, you could download it, play with it, and you could connect to it the policy engine of all of the SaaS companies in the world. And your policy engines are super important, super valuable. So the policy engines could be connected. NemoClaw or OpenClaw with OpenShell would be able to execute that policy engine. It has a network guardrail. It has a privacy router. And as a result, we could protect and keep the claws from executing inside our company and do it safely. We also added several things to the agentic system. And one of the most important things you want to do with your own custom claws is so that you can have your custom models. And this is NVIDIA's Open Model Initiative. We are now at the frontier of every single domain of AI models. Whether it's Nemotron, Cosmos World Foundation model, Groot, artificial general robotics, humanoid robotics models, Alpamayo for autonomous vehicle, BioNemo for digital biology, Earth-2 for AI physics. We are at the frontier on every single one. Take a look.
The world is diverse. No single model can serve every industry. Open Models is one of the largest and most diverse AI ecosystems.
So I want to know what you think about NemoClaw, this new paradigm. Really, what NVIDIA is doing is taking OpenClaw and then making it enterprise ready. So I really want to know what your thoughts are on this. Again, this is an exciting time. We've got a lot going on, a lot happening. Love to hear your thoughts and comments. Kudos to everybody. Thank you so much.